Well, Josh, congratulations on your victory. It was a pretty incredible fight. Give me your thoughts after putting on a performance like that.
I don't know. I just have to go back and watch it, just because in my mind it was. I don't know. I'm a tough critic on myself, you know. So I didn't get to move. I didn't get to do what I wanted to do. I used a lot of movement, lateral movement, and I really wanted to mix up the wrestling and do things. And I hurt my knee in the first 45 seconds. So I felt like I had to just stand there and play sock'em rock'em robots, you know, and just slip and rip. And I don't know. People are saying it's a good fight, I guess, but and it's just I didn't even get to scratch the surface what I'm capable of. And a lot of journalists or all these guys that are always counting me out and stuff, I see everything. It's like, I love it though, because everyone's like saying, I'm going to lose, I'm going to do this stuff. I can beat anyone in the world, and that was a horrible fight in my opinion.
It wasn't. But talking about the leg, because it did seem like you were stepping pretty gingerly, like really early. Was there something from the leg kicks, or was it a step? What?
No, not at all. It was the first, I think I overcommitted to a right hand, and I think he kicked my knee as I was coming in, and it hyperextended it it had to be the first minute, and right when I went to hold it, and then I stepped back, and it just kept buckling and giving out. I've never experienced anything like that. I know it's on the outside, so I believe it's my ACL. That's just going through my mind. But yeah, so I couldn't move. I really couldn't. Anytime I would try to throw a right leg kick, so I had all my weight planted on my left, it would buckle. Anytime I would lean over and throw uppercuts, or I wanted to go to the liver a lot, I couldn't. It would buckle. So I just had to stand there and throw jabs and overhand rights. And the first thing going through my mind is like, okay, this hurts. I can't move. I'm going to have to adapt to it. Just like I feel like my mentality is like my strongest part of my game, and I'm willing to go through hell. I'm willing to go through anything to get my hand raised, and I was just like, I'm not going home with one check.
I was going to ask you about the mentality. I mean, you're cracking him with some heavy shots, and obviously you finally dropped him twice in the third, but as he's taking these big shots, is there any part of you thinking, what's going on here? I know you believe in your power, and somehow he was staying up.
Yeah, I feel like if my knee wasn't messed up, I really could have put it on him and went for the finish, but I was just felt like I was kind of coasting and just doing things like that. But I don't know. I'm just frustrated about my knee. I'm just so pissed about it because I have to wait and get the MRI and see really what's going on. But I'm just thinking about that because I've been off for a year. I want to keep the momentum going. I want to fight. Everyone's always talking about these other hungry fighters. I'm one of the hungriest fighters in the UFC. I've never said no to a fight. I've never turned a fight down. I want to fight as consistent as possible, but nobody pushes me. They push and build all these other guys up. I can beat anyone in the world, so I hope tonight I can start to get some push. You know, I hope the UFC can push me, build me up, do something for me instead of just trying to keep me as a gatekeeper and just fight all these veterans and tough prospects and up-and-comers. Like, it's just so frustrating to me. But besides all that, I'm just frustrated about the knee. You know, I'm sorry, you guys.
Fair enough. Well, last thing for me, and I think once you watch the fight, maybe you'll take a little bit more enjoyment in it because it was good. But I guess the knee is really what it's going to boil down to. But you're saying you want to fight ahead, not behind. Are there names, specific matchups that you do think make sense for you, or can you even get into that until you know what's going on with the knee?
Yeah, I want to see what's going on with the knee, but I was saying I felt like I'm 2 fights away. Shane Burgos is a tough guy. You know, I felt like I beat him. My next fight, I wanted to fight, like, do some type of title eliminator. I feel like I can compete with any of these guys. I know I can. You know, I train with the best team in the world. I have the best coaches in the world. Everyone, top fighters from around the world have been coming around. I've been with the team for over a decade. I know where I stand, and I still feel like I don't get to just showcase anything. Like, you know, I got injured, so I just had to stand there and throw overhand rights and jabs.
Josh, not to focus on the negatives, but what exactly is the issue you had with journalists leading into this?
No, I just see everyone just counting me out and like always voting against me and all the I'm always the underdog. Like, I like it. It motivates me, and my friends and fans love it because they're making a lot of money off me when they bet. Like, some of the guys lock me in at like a plus 150, and then the line changes to, I don't know what it finished at tonight, but I don't know. It's there's politics and everything, and people are biased, and they have favoritism and all this stuff. So I see it all. It's just irritating to me. I just want a little push, and I think I deserve it. And it was always okay, power versus precision, and I think power prevailed tonight. I also have a lot of precision with power behind it.
I know you were saying that because of your leg, you felt like you couldn't hit him as hard as you perhaps normally could, but we've seen you hit guys with those sort of shots and they go down almost every time. Is he the hardest chin you've ever fought?
I don't know. He's tough though. Yeah, Shane, he's a tough dude, and maybe it's attributed to his endurance. You know, I mean, he has a gas tank for days, and so I hit him, and I would drop him, and he would like laugh as he's going down and give me props and say like, hey, that was a good one. You know, it's nothing but respect to Shane, his team, and he's a good dude, and he's going to he's been doing super well, and he's going to continue to do well, and I wish him nothing but the best. But yeah, he's a tough SOB.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
Josh, congratulations over here to your left. When you misstepped and injured your knee, and then he started throwing some of those leg kicks at you, were you worried a little bit that the fight might end because you can't continue? How much pain or concern did you have?
Like I said, I'm willing to go through hell to get my hand raised. I will never cower away. I will never give up. You literally have to put me out. And I think you guys have seen it time and time before with some of the injuries I've had. I'm not like one of those fighters. I won't I won't just sit there and you'll never see me want out of the fight. You know, like I know if I just cover up and they're hitting and like people want out of the fight. I will never do that. You know, I'm going to fight till the bitter end. I'll bite down on my mouthpiece and I'll throw as hard as I can. But no, that never went through my head. Just the only thing that was going through my mind is I'm not going home with one paycheck.
Absolutely.
Because of the stupid knee.
Speaking of the knee, what was the game plan, and how would it have been different if your knee had not been injured early?
I think I could have put him away in the second. You know, I could have used. Is that messing you guys up? You guys hear that?
I think we're okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, I used a lot of lateral movement. I wanted to implement some more wrestling. I wanted to implement a lot more knees and kicks and things like that, but I couldn't. You know, I could not move. So I just stood in the pocket and threw jabs and overhand rights, you know, and then I'd switch my stance and throw straight lefts or overhand lefts, you know.
Absolutely. That was an amazing performance. Is there anybody that you'd like to fight next, or any couple of people that you can mention that would be exciting?
Whoever's going to get me closer to the title.
Definitely got to be top 10 though now, right?
Well, I'm in the top 8. By default, I would say I'm 7 because Frankie's going down to 35. So anyone in the top 3, you know. I always said, hey, I wanted to fight the number 1 contender. I win that fight, then I can fight for the title, you know. So that would be perfect case scenario for me. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with the knee, and then talk to my coaches and team and manager and kind of see what happens from there.
Absolutely. I think for any media or journalist that did not respect your ability, I think you made them respect it here. Amazing performance.
We'll see in the next fight.
That's true. Thanks.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Josh.
What's up, guys? Fight of the night. No secret, no shocker, no surprises here. Emmett and Burgos. Performance of the night went to Jim Miller and Justin James. They all won $50,000. Congratulations to them. John Morgan, what do you got?
Dana, main event, so a dominating wrestling win for Curtis Blaydes, maybe not the most exciting main event of all time. I just want to get your thoughts on kind of his performance tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he won. He talked a lot of shit coming in this week. I don't think you talk the shit that he talked this week and come in and perform like that, talking about ragdolling people and he's not getting paid and yada, yada. He should be getting a title shot. And, he gassed out at the end of the third round, made it to the fifth and won the fight. Yeah, he won.
You said it, I mean, he's talking about title shots. Obviously, you have a heavyweight title shot, and of course, Francis Ngannou is next. But he said, Curtis said coming in, once I win, I think I'll hang out and wait around. I should probably be right behind Francis. I mean, is that the type of win that you could give a guy a title shot?
Well, first of all, his two losses are to Francis. How do you give him the title fight over Francis? But yeah, he would be considered next in line. With his performance tonight and his cardio, I wouldn't wait around if I was him. I'd stay active. I'd stay busy. I like Curtis Blaydes, but Curtis Blaydes has the wrong attitude as far as I'm concerned. I don't have anything against the kid at all. He just, when you talk shit like he talked this week, man, you better come in and whoop somebody's ass when you talk shit like that. When you talk the shit that he talked and perform like you performed tonight, you look stupid.
The opposite end of the spectrum, Josh Emmett, that fight obviously was incredible. As you said, clear fight of the night. What did you think about his performance tonight?
Incredible. He looked good. Considering his knee in the first round, and he kept throwing bombs. He took some nasty leg kicks and kept throwing bombs. He hit Burgos. Burgos went down. Burgos got back up. Both guys had unbelievable chins. It was a very fun fight. The thing that I feel sorry for these two guys are that fight was incredible, and it's obviously a candidate for fight of the year. But the problem is this year is Joanna Jędrzejczyk versus Weili Zhang happened, And if you look at what was on the line, it was 5 rounds, and it was just fucking badass. It just sucks for those two because that fight was incredible.
And Emmett saying, he wants respect now. He's like, I need to fight up some guys to the top. What do you plan on doing with him?
Dude, I talked to these guys on Friday, and he did exactly what I was talking about, There's never been more spotlight and shine on this sport than there is right now. Every day on ESPN, whether it's on the lower bottom graphic or, they're talking about it, or that's on the scroll on the bottom, it's UFC every day. And, it's what the media is talking about right now because there's nothing else going on. So they've never had a bigger opportunity with more people watching them. People were talking all this shit about Cavillo versus It did 1.4 million fucking views, So the sport's kicking ass right now, and I shouldn't say that. The UFC's kicking ass right now, and these kids are getting a lot of attention. So you have to go out and perform, and they did.
Kind of a weird moment in the first fight of the night. I wanted to get your take on this. Max Roshkoff was saying, telling his corner, hey, call it, I'm done. His corner didn't. He ultimately kind of had to call it himself. Bob Bennett has said that he'll look into it. Did you see that whole scenario unfold? Did you have any thoughts on what happened there?
So apparently his manager has been terrorizing Sean Shelby that this guy is the guy. This guy's the future of the sport. And finally, Sean said, okay, I'll bring him in. I got a last-minute replacement, and brought him in. And that was his performance tonight.
I don't know. The last thing I wanted to ask of you, the shorts tonight, we saw the logos, the rainbow logo on there. How did that all come about? We didn't know that was something that was being done. It was kind of a surprise. How did that come about?
Well, they asked if they could, and I said yes.
No big initiative then?
No, they asked, and I said yes.
Hey, Dana.
Dana, I'm sorry. Could I just ask you about that, though? So you say, forgetting about his performance, the fact if he felt he didn't have a chance to win, do you feel like it's okay for a fighter to essentially tap out in between rounds?
100%. Listen, man, let me tell you what. In this fucking sport, if you're done, you're done. You should absolutely be able to quit. You know, I know that it's frowned upon, but guess what? Anybody that would talk shit about you quitting isn't in there fighting. You know, it's real easy to be a critic. What these kids do is a whole nother level, man. I don't, you know, as the guy who runs this organization, as the guy who is involved in the matchmaking and everything else, you know, you see these kids. We deal with managers from all over the world. They're like, oh, this guy's the guy, this guy's the guy. And you get this, when you get here, this is a whole different level, man. And that guy's not ready, and he might not ever be ready. And some of us, and I'm not, I've told you guys this many times before. I believed one day, that, you know, back in the day that I was a fighter and I wanted to do this and that, and one day I found out that I wasn't. The realization was that I wasn't. And when you find out, you need to walk away, and you need to. I'm not saying that's the case with this kid, but if that kid felt like he needed to quit tonight, who the fuck is anybody to judge him on that? He had the balls to come here and fight and take a short notice fight in the UFC.
Do you
Period.
feel like when you look at him, so, you know, obviously a lot of people think it looks bad. Do you see that as a guy that could turn it around? I mean, or do you think that's such a mental blow to somebody that it's hard to come back and win a fight after having done that on national television?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question, but he, you know, he's got to get up tomorrow morning and look at himself in the mirror and figure out who he is and what he wants to do. There is no shame in getting here and finding out that you're not it. There's no shame in that at all. You gave it a shot, didn't work out. You know what I mean? Anybody who would try to ridicule a kid like that, fuck you. Come try it. Come try and do what he did tonight. Very few people can do it.
I don't know. Is there an update on Jacare and if he's feeling any better from COVID?
I don't have an update.
Okay, so are there plans to unveil the next EA UFC game in Abu Dhabi next month?
Are we?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me? Boss, are we doing it? Yeah, yeah. The boss says yes.
And there's reports that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury are going to be in the game.
What? Where are you hearing this shit?
There's a reporter named Brian Mazicki. He's a gaming journalist.
Tyson Fury
Yeah.
might be.
Okay. Might be.
Aren't we doing this in Abu Dhabi? Why are you asking me these questions now?
Being annoying, I guess.
Yeah, because I might tell you.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, over here. Dana, to your left. How's it going?
Hey, good.
How impressed were you with Justin James tonight?
Yeah, listen, I was just, let me take this opportunity to rip Bob Arum again. So
Go right ahead.
these guys have been pulling shitty numbers, putting on, I guess Kevin said they had a good fight the other night. I didn't see it, but, you know, they're still battling with cornhole right now. And but these kids out the gate since day one have been putting on incredible fights. And if you look at what's going on in sports right now, you know, some of these guys are just getting back and starting to train, and nobody's playing yet. And the level that these kids are performing at, all of them, not just him, but yes, obviously him too. It's been incredible to watch. I've never been more proud to be a part of this sport than I am right now.
Absolutely. This might be more of a question for Sean, but when you call a fighter for a last-minute opportunity to be in the UFC, I'm curious, what percentage say I'll take that, and what percentage of the time does Sean have to go looking for the next guy and the next guy?
There's tons of kids who take the opportunity, yeah. So a lot of these kids stay in shape. You know, they might not necessarily have been training for a 3-round fight. You know, when I say that, I mean a proper camp that you would do, but they're in shape and they're ready to go. So, and a lot of these kids take the opportunity.
Gotcha. Catch weights. This is something that we've seen you do only during the pandemic.
Because I don't like them.
And when there's no pandemic anymore, we're not going to see.
No, I hate catch weight fights. Okay. They mean nothing.
Yeah. Last question. Who impressed you the most overall tonight?
Tonight, you got to go with the co-main event. Both of those guys impressed me. Both showed. Absolutely, you know, it was one of the fights that I picked this week for people to watch, and they lived up to the hype of the fight. And both guys showed toughness, grit, determination. Both guys showed the will to win. You could tell when Burgos lost, he was so upset because He felt like he was in it, and he had a chance to win that fight. And like Emmett said, you know, tonight was his coming out party. He's been working hard. You know, he went through that shit when he first came into the UFC. He got injured, you know, and sat out for a while. And tonight was his night, man. Tonight was his night to shine. And he earned it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dana, good to see you.
You too, buddy.
Not sure if you saw, but Henry Cejudo's been very active on Twitter tonight. During the Emmett Burgos fight, he even mentioned that these artists are doing beautiful work in his weight division. Just curious on your thoughts if Henry Cejudo wanted to return and fight for the featherweight strap.
He's retired.
But if somebody
I just
pulls
did
out-
another interview where people are asking me about other retired guys. These guys are retired. I'm not even thinking about any of those guys. They're retired. You know, there's so many kids right now that are here that want to fight. Those are the people that I'm focused on.
Josh Emmett, a few moments ago, he was up there on the podium. He mentioned that he'd be interested in a top 3 opponent. Curious on what you think his fighting future is and what a good bout would be for him, opponent-wise, for his next time out in the octagon.
Well, yeah, I you know, it's going to depend on a lot of things. Who's available, timing of when he fights again, how's his knee. I mean, there's just so many things. There's so many different factors in when he fights next and who he fights next that we're going to have to see how this thing plays out over the next couple weeks. I'm hoping, I don't even want to say it because I don't even want to jinx the kid, but I'm hoping his knee is okay.
And lastly, you announced all the fight cards in July for Fight Island. When do you anticipate announcing more of the schedule in August for the fight cards here at the Apex?
Probably, I don't know. Probably when we get to Fight Island, we'll start announcing more cards. We got the summer done. Summer looks good, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna have some fun in August. August is a crazy month with some really good fights.
Last thing, Dana, to me, I didn't see one judge's decision that I felt was wrong tonight, which is a really good thing. I'm not going to say it's rare because there's not always bad decisions, but are you with
It's
me?
very rare.
Okay.
It's very. I mean, usually we'll be somewhere and the night will start and they'll be like, "What the? How the hell did he see that fight like that?" Yeah, no. Tonight was a good night.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. Good judging in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
You know.
it's a big deal. It's a big deal when they get it right.
Jillian Robertson, last second submission. That had to impress you, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And then 125 for Valentina. She may be possibly in talks sometime soon, maybe.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
Right.
Dana,
Yeah.
just real quick, speaking of Bob Arum, talking to him today, he mentioned that potentially they may have fans at a show at the MGM in September.
People aren't even watching it on TV. Fucking fans are going to show up now?
So the question is, would you have any fans? Have you had talks for that? Is there a possibility, say for Stipe in DC, that you might have fans at that event? When would the earliest be?
So this asshole is saying that he's going to have fans at his fights when a few weeks ago he was talking shit about me for even going. Then I go, now he's going right after I'm going, but he's going to have fans all of a sudden too? He's an asshole. Come on, Kev. You know he's an asshole.
Dana,
He's going to have fans there. He's got 300,000 people watching his show. What are 14 people going to show up live?
So no chance of you having fans?
I'm not even thinking about that right now. I got my shit dialed in. I got my shit worked out, you know? I'm hearing that they're shutting down casinos in Arizona. They're shutting down casinos in Arizona. The governor just came out and said everybody's going to have to start wearing masks here like California and all this other stuff. But Bob Arum's going to have fans. He's pulling 300,000 viewers. He's going to sell fucking tickets. Give me a fucking break.
Dana, any word on Anthony Rumble Johnson coming back? I'd be really...
You know what? There was talk about it for a minute, and then it's all stopped, and he sort of disappeared again.
That's not good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, listen, it is good because if you don't want to fight, and if you walked away the first time, and you're coming back for what? What are you coming back for? If it's just a payday,
Yeah.
he's a smart kid. He can go do a lot of other things, man. This is a young man's game. These guys, these up and coming kids are savages. Look at this Emmett Burgos fight.
Yep.
Both of those guys looking for the credit and the respect they feel they deserve. Those are the type of dudes you're going to fight.
Yep.
This is a young man's game. And there's nothing wrong with being retired from this. But I always say this to these kids: this isn't a job. This isn't a job. This is an opportunity. And you have a very short window of time to do this, like any other professional sport.
Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a person who's ready to retire and retiring.
Absolutely. Wanted to give you credit also for sticking up for Max Roshkop. A lot of people who haven't trained, I've trained most of my life in various martial arts, don't understand that if you're getting beaten down, your cardio's gone, you're hurt, and you're not going to be able to bring anything else, looking forward to continuous beatdown is not a fair thing, and it's not a fair thing to call someone like that a coward.
Well, it's actually the beautiful thing about this sport is you can actually tap out with honor. When you think about No Mas, he was ridiculed for years because of that.
Yeah.
He's one of the baddest dudes to ever walk the face of the planet.
Absolutely, Roberto.
You know what I mean? And yeah, no shame in that kid quitting on the stool.
Yeah.
If you feel you can't go back in there and perform, do not do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were kind of referencing having August set. Is Stipe DC? Do you think it'll be here at the Apex, or do you know where it'll be?
Yeah, that would be here.
Okay, that's official then.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were just talking about the fans with Top Rank. You had said last week, as soon as you can have fans, you would go do that. I know the president tried to have a rally tonight, and they had attendance issues there. I think a lot of people want to stay away because of the virus. So, I mean, would you immediately go, or do you have to kind of feel out where the fans are in terms of being ready to go to them?
No. So when we think, first of all, whatever, this would be a state or a country or whatever it would be that would decide that they were ready for fans. We would get together with the government there and, whatever entities we had to deal with, whether it was the athletic commission or whoever, and we would figure out how we were going to do this, how it was all going to work, how would it be safe, and then we do it. We would be first. If we're able to do it, we'd be first and do it. I just don't see that happening anytime soon in the United States. I could see it happening in another country, not here though. I mean, and again, you can't fucking believe anything you read. You don't know what's true and what's not true. You're hearing, flatten the curve, and the curve had flattened. Now they're saying things are spiking up in Texas and Arizona and Florida and all these other places. I don't know. I don't know the answers to this stuff. That's why I stay in my lane now. We got the Apex. We got Fight Island. We're kicking off here soon. And I am not even thinking about doing an event with fans, And if I had 300,000 people watching my fucking show, that'd be the last thing I'd be worried about is fans coming back.
Last good one, Dana. With the weight classes approved a couple years ago, 170 being removed and then bringing in 65, 75, 95, and 225, any thought about adding any of those weight classes? And if so, which one might be given the most serious?
What was the beginning of that question?
The beginning of that question was a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
most athletic commissions approved MMA adding 4 weight classes, removing 170 and putting in 65, 75, 95, and 225.
No.
No thought about any of them? And if you were going to put in one, any favorite of those 4?
No.
It's a no?
No interest whatsoever.
Understood.
Thank you. You guys done with me? Have a great weekend.
Thanks, Dana.
Curtis, you made no secret what the game plan was going to be. You were coming in and try to wrestle him. You did exactly that. I'm sure you probably would have liked to get a finish along the way. But overall, now that it's over, how do you feel about the result and your performance tonight?
Very happy with the result. It's a dominant decision. I can't remember exactly the scores, but it sounded pretty dominant to me. I can live with that.
They actually did give him a couple rounds. Were you surprised?
What was the score? I can't remember. What was the score?
A couple 48-47, 48-46, 49-46, I believe.
I mean, he might have he probably won the last round. I'll give him that. Even though I got the takedowns, he was doing more damage. I'll give him that. The elbows and the strikes when I was hanging on his leg at one point. But his game plan was just weather the storm. About the first couple rounds, I was doing all the work, and he was just hanging out on the bottom. And it took me a minute to realize that he's not looking to get up. He's just looking to weather the storm. And maybe I exerted too much energy looking to drop elbows. I should have maybe waited until the later rounds like he did. But I'm just not built like that. When I get on the ground, I'm looking to land ground and pound. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I know you pride yourself in your cardio, but it did seem like you got a little tired towards the end. Were you disappointed in that? What do you think happened?
Yeah, I was disappointed in that. Just something to work on. You live and you learn. It's always good to learn lessons, and especially when you win and learn a lesson. I learned a lesson. Next time, I'll be a lot more judicious with my takedowns and the pace. And next time we get a tall guy like that, I didn't really get to bring in anyone who was like him, who was really long, and I wasn't really used to the dimensions, and it presented problems when I was in the guard. It was some different problems that we weren't all the way ready for, but we made it. So
I saw online you were having a little fun with fans, kind of going at them and telling them, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Why should I not do what I do best? I mean, do you feel like you get disrespected as kind of a wrestling specialist, so to speak, that people don't give you respect for that?
Yeah, but I think I know who I am now. I'm a heel. You don't like what I do, I like to make you mad. I like to win. That's probably the best part about this win is I predicted this, and I did it. 25 minutes. Didn't look the best, but I'm okay with having a gritty win like that, and I know a lot of fans didn't like it. I'm okay with that. That makes me happy.
The last thing for me, I know you said coming in, the plan was, hey, let's wait for the heavyweight title fight, see how things shake out. Dana was in here earlier. He said, hey, he'd like to see you stay busy instead of waiting around. What do you think? Is there an idea to stay busy, or do you think the plan is still to see what happens in August?
Stay busy against who? I fought Justin Willis, ranked below me. I fought Abdurahimov, ranked below me. I fought Junior, ranked below me. I fought Volkov, ranked below me. What? No, I don't know, man. This is probably not the best time for me to answer that question, so I'm just gonna leave that alone. Alone.
Curtis, over here. I don't know if people mentioned it, but your striking looked darn good tonight. Want to give you that. The takedown only happened because you were exhausted, but did that make you angry when he caught that takedown?
Yeah, I relented it. That's on me. I was a little upset about it, but like I said, you live and you learn. I won, so there is no part of me that isn't happy right now. You can ask it from 6 different angles. There is no part of me that isn't happy. My hand was raised. I'm happy.
Absolutely, and it looks like you followed the instructions from your coaching staff a lot. What were they telling you that you should try to execute in this fight?
They wanted me to step up with my right leg and gain better posture and drop blows. I was trying to do it, but he did a great job defending it.
Absolutely. Who helped you out for this fight?
Alistair was there for half of it, but after his fight with Walt Harris, he went home. And then I had my training partner over there, Zach Paonga. Him, a couple other guys that were regional guys at Elevation, but it was just a team effort,
Absolutely. Sometimes it's hard for people to tell someone being tired from being hurt. Were you ever hurt badly?
No. He doesn't hit. I know I got stitches, but at no point was I whoa, that hurt. I don't think he hits that hard.
Absolutely. Solid performance.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Really appreciate you being here after that hard fight. Thank you, man.